In this video, I'm going to show you how I am going to build a 5K per month. More specifically, in this video, I am going to show you how you can actually build out your first AI agent. It's probably going to take about 20 to 30 minutes. Your first AI agent, which we're going to build through a software called make.com, it's actually going to export 10 profitable niches, kind of like the table that you see right below in this video. It's going to give us an opportunity score. It's going to give us content ideas, and it's also going to give us monetization ideas. And this AI agent is going to export this every single month, every single Friday on demand. Now, before we get into it, and we're going to lay this out step by step so that you can follow along and do this too, I want to go over what it takes to build this type of business. Okay, so yesterday, I talked about some of the challenges of starting an online business and how AI agents can help alleviate most of that issue. So what we're going to do at a high level, we're going to use AI agents to help us find sub niches, content ideas, which will update weekly, help us make content, help us find monetization opportunities and apply, help us analyze to see what's working, what's not working, help us become more efficient and make more money. Now, in yesterday's video, which is Saturday, I believe, I talk more in depth about kind of the high level of what AI agents can do, okay? It gives you a very general idea of how to get started, why you want to use AI agents to incorporate into your business. But today, we're going to focus on using AI agents to help us find sub niches. And this is a very high level, basic idea of what we're going to do. We're going to create an Airtable, which is what this is. And then we are going to use a micro niche agent, which we'll give it a name, which essentially is this, to help us create a report that will be delivered every single Monday when we sit down with our morning cup of coffee. So as I mentioned yesterday, make sure you check out that video so a lot of that will make sense. Check out that video after watching this video and then come back. I want you to watch 2 videos of mine back to back. New online business owners struggle with speed, emotion, and second guessing. I talked about that yesterday, but most people will get bogged down, and as you've heard before, money loves speed. But with new online business owners, they spend so much time overthinking. They spend a lot of time in the research phase, which limits their success and their progress. And they get too tied to being perfect, which is an emotion, and so they get stuck. And then they wind up guessing every move that they make. But with a AI agent, it removes all of that. It allows us to work faster, allows us to work smarter, allows us to work easier, and it allows us to make better business decisions so that we don't have our emotions tied to it. I would encourage you that if you've been stuck for longer than 6 months, if you've been stuck for a year, bring AI agents into your business so that it will help you move faster. Even if you want AI agents to just do one part of your business and then you still want to come up with creating the content on your own, that's fine. I would encourage you to find a way to make AI agents integral to your business so that you can move faster, easier, and so on. So I'm going to jump into the pet niche, and you can do this, or you can find a different untapped, undiscovered niche, that's fine. But the reason why we want to use the pet niche is that it's evergreen. There's always people that have money that are going to spend on their pets. They love pets more than people. There is a high commercial intent. So pet owners want to spend money. They want to solve problems. They want to spend money on their dogs or cats or whatever. It's low competition in specific micro niches. So most people make the mistake of trying to get into the dog niche. I want to create content about dogs. That's wrong. That's too competitive. That's too big. But what if you helped people that had Doberman pinschers solve a problem? Like how to a pet cage for Doberman pinschers, or a pet cage for miniature schnauzers. That's the type of thing that we want to do, is we want to niche down, right? And it's easier to monetize. We can do affiliate marketing, digital products, maybe even coaching and stuff like that eventually. And the other thing is, it doesn't necessarily require personal expertise or your face or voice. And so here's even more reason why you would want to niche down. As I mentioned, the pet niche is just too big. There's too much to get into. And when you try to talk to everyone, you wind up talking to no one. For example, with a Doberman pinscher, their needs and requirements are going to be much different than a miniature schnauzer or, one of those wiener dogs, right? Those requirements, those needs, wants, desires are going to be different. And so you're going to have to talk to them differently. And when you niche down, you actually show your expertise. For example, a general contractor makes about a general doctor, makes about $288,000 per year, but a cardiothoracic surgeon makes $400,000 per year. And niching down will help you grow faster, and it'll help you monetize much easier. So at a high level, what we're going to do is we're going to have our AI agent find ideas that are quote unquote scraped from the internet, right? And then we're going to rank those ideas based on metrics, and then we can have a report generated every Monday at 7 a.m. It is going to go out and collect data from Google Trends, YouTube, and we can even add in Reddit, TikTok, Instagram, forum sites. We can get as granular as we want. And from now on, we're going to call this AI agent Frank, okay? So that I can stop saying AI agent. We're going to call him Frank from now on. And then these are the only tools that you need to start. Really, you just need make.com. I'll put a link in the description to it if you want to get started. Airtable, which is free. And then you're going to need a ChatGPT API, which is very inexpensive. And then you can even add in Google APIs, but we're not even going to use that to start. And then I've actually got the prompts that we can enter in. These are prompts detailed and very specific to what we're going to do so that we can get the best output for us. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start building. Like I mentioned, we are going to wind up with something like this. We can add and subtract rows as needed. And really, let's go ahead and get started, okay? So the first thing that we want to do is we want to create an Airtable, and we're just going to go to airtable.com. Oh, one final thing is if you want a blueprint of this exact thing, there are going to be two ways that you can get this blueprint. One, you can join my membership. The membership is it's at the lowest price it'll ever be. As I add more blueprints and prompts and all of that stuff, the price is probably going to go up, especially if I start making money. Or two, by the time you see this video, I'm actually going to I'm going to make a sales page, which I talked about this yesterday, where I sell the prompts individually for like $7, $9, or $10. So if you just want the prompt and the blueprint, I'll sell it to you for $7, $9, or $10, and you can go about your day. Either way will work, all right? So let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing we want to do is we want to create an Airtable. And an Airtable essentially is kind of like a Google Sheet or Microsoft Excel. But what we want to do is we want to click on the plus sign here, and I'm just going to call this dog stuff. Now I'm probably going to change this name a little bit later, but to get started, we're going to call it dog stuff, right? And then inside of our general table thing, we're going to create like an individual workspace, and we're going to click on start from scratch, and I'm going to close this, and I'm just going to change the table name, and I'm going to change it to doggy niches, right? D-O-G-G-Y, doggy niches. And I'm going to click save. And then on this, we just need to configure our table a little bit. And to do that, and make sure that you're following along so that you can get the most out of this. And it makes sense, because you watch the video and then you try and do it afterwards, it won't necessarily make sense. So what we are going to do is we are essentially going to create this. And as you can see here, we've got niche name. I'm trying to find my notes here so I can update this. All right, so we're going to do niche name. Whoops, let's go back over here. We're going to do niche name, and that's going to be a single line of text. We're going to hit the drop down. We're going to click edit field, niche name, single line of text. And then I'm just going to delete these. It'll make our life a little bit easier than trying to change that like that, delete that. Okay, great. So now we're going to click on this next one is going to be a Google Trends score, and so that's going to be a number. And we could just type in number, like, we can type in number like this, and we are going to get it. And then we're just going to do the same thing for YouTube opportunity. This is also going to be a number, paste that in. And then monetization score, once again, is going to be a number. And what's really cool about this is once we get everything set up, all of this information is going to be entered in automatically, okay? Every Monday when we wake up, or whenever you want to, really, let's say you wake up on a Friday and you want to take a peek at this, you can do this as well. But what's really cool is for final score, we can actually do a formula here. And so I'm just going to type in formula, and I'm going to paste that in. And then for our formula, we can just type in, I'm going to do equals Google, and it should map to our other things here. Google trend score. Make sure you hit a space bar plus another space bar, and then I'm going to type in YouTube opportunity plus space bar plus, and then monetization score, and then we're plus like that. And then competition score. And then I'm going to hit the space, divide that by 10, okay? And then the one thing we want to do is we want to add our brackets, because you got to remember our math from when we were in like elementary school, and then create. And so this is going to give us scores between 0 and 10. Let me just make sure my formula is correct here. Edit field, yep. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And then next we are going to come up with 3 content ideas. Now this is going to be a long form text. Copy this, then we're going to hit the space, long form text. Let's see, long form text, like that. Paste that in. And then monetization idea, once again, is going to be a long form text like this. Paste that in. And then the final one is date created. Now this is optional, but you know, if you wind up doing this every single Monday for 6 months or a year, you want to make sure that you are finding things that are, you know, relatively recent or whatnot. So we can do that, and then we can do default to current date like that and click create. So just like that, we have created our Airtable, which is really cool. The next thing that we want to do, and just so you know, the Airtable is kind of the last piece of this puzzle, but the next thing that we want to do is we actually want to go over to scenarios, and we want to create a new scenario. Now you will need a make account. You can do a few, I think you can do 3 makes for free. Click the link in the description if you want to get started with make. It is an affiliate link, but you can get started with make for free. Click create new scenario, and what we're going to do here is we want to connect OpenAI, and is going to use ChatGPT, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to come down and go to create a completion. So we're going to enter in a prompt, and it's going to give us some information back, right? And so here you're going to need to connect your ChatGPT API. Now in order to do that, as you can see, I've got a couple here. You can click on online help just like this, and you can actually connect your API where you go down and says obtain an API key, right? So you're going to go over to ChatGPT API and then follow the directions to create an API key. Click login or create an account, API platform. And so I already have all of this stuff. Just follow the directions. It's really inexpensive to start. You need less than $10, and you'll be able to run this for probably about 3 months at least, right? So we're going to go through this process, and then the next step is you only have one option really, create a chat completion, just like that. And then for the model, we are going to just check chat 4.0 latest. Now, depending on when you're seeing this, it might be a little bit different. There might be a 5, there might be a 6, there might be a 97. It doesn't really matter. Just check the latest system. And then here, this is when it gets pretty crazy, right? So what we want to do is we want to click on add message, role, user, and then this is where we're actually going to copy and paste a prompt. Now, I've spent a little bit of time getting the exact prompt that we need. And so I'm just going to scroll down and, you know, find 10 low competition, high demand sub niches. And this is where you're going to enter in your niche. But I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to copy all of this. We want a very specific output, a JSON, JSON output, right? So I'm going to copy all of this like this. Come on, all the way down. And let me see here. Actually, I've gone too far. Okay, so I'm going to copy all of this like so. I'm going to copy this. And what we want to do is we want to give ChatGPT very explicit instructions about what we want and what it's going to return, okay? And so we can click save just like this. And then the next thing that we want to do, and I'm going to run this once to show you what our output is. Click run once. And what's really cool is once this runs, it'll take probably less than 30 seconds. We can click the 1 up here, and it's going to give us an output. The mistake that I made, actually, I'm going to stop this. The mistake that I made is I did not tell it our niche, okay? And so the great thing is when you give it bad input, it's going to give you bad output. And so here, I'm going to put dog, right? Dog, okay? So I'm going to click save again. I'm going to click save. Make sure you save early and often at the bottom left here. And then I'm going to click run once again, and hopefully we actually get some good output. Okay, and so what I would encourage you to do, and just so you guys know, right now, this is all programming. You are a programmer, right? So if we look at this, dog enrichment toys DIY, If we keep scrolling, dog anxiety tips, urban dog living for small spaces. This is exactly it. So right now, this essentially is like programming. You're coding. You're a coder. Congratulations, right? And so we've got that. The next thing that we want to do, if we look at our thing here, is we want to parse this into something called JSON. Because right now we're going to get some yucky output, which won't translate well into our JSON folder. And so because of that, we need to clean it up a little bit. And to do that, I'm going to click the plus sign, and I'm just going to type in JSON like that. And I'm going to click on parse JSON. And to do that, we need to choose a data structure, right? And what we can do is we can create a data structure like this, and I'm going to click add. And then for add item, actually what we're going to do instead of adding an item is we are going to generate, okay? And when I click on generate, we're going to give it sample data. And again, I'm going to have that for you. And we're going to tell it exactly what we wanted to output. And then it's going to give us, it's going to create it for us. So it makes our life a little bit easier. The great thing with all of this, let me see if I can find it. So I just copy this, and then I'm going to paste this in just like that. And it's going to actually map it for us. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go all the way down, and I'm just going to type in sample data for JSON. Okay, bold that. And again, all of this is going to be available for you in the two ways that we mentioned. And come back over here, click generate, and you can see it generates it for us, right? How cool is that? The one thing with the Google Trend Score is we want to change this to a number. YouTube score, we're going to change this to a number also. Monetization score, change that to a number. Competition score, once again, that's a number. And then final score, we're going to give that a number as well. Content ideas is an array, which we're okay with. Monetization plan is a text. Okay, great. So we're going to click on save. And then JSON string, we are going to come back over here, and we're going to make sure our JSON string is a result. So we're going to actually map that to our output that we get from OpenAI. So to do that, we're going to click on this, and then we are going to go over here, and we are going to click on result, just like that. And we are going to click save. Now it's going to give us an error, but that's fine. And so the final thing is actually we are going to connect our Airtable. So to do that, we're going to click the plus sign, and then we are going to type in Airtable, and then we're going to type in create a record. And now we are going to simply connect our Airtable to make. And to do that, we're going to click this right here, and we would click add. And then it'll actually walk you through the steps of adding them. You're going to need an API, which is fine. Click add. And then connection type, it's going to ask for a token or key. You can grab that right from Airtable. That's really simple. Just to show you where's our Airtable, go up here. You can come down to like integrations. Real simple stuff, okay? Not difficult at all. Let's get out of here. Unentitled base is okay, so that's great. All right, so we're going to go base. Unfortunately, I have both of them as unentitled base. Make sure that you give them better names. And as you can see here, unentitled base, doggy niches. So that actually maps to this right here, as you can see. And then under name, we want to connect niche. Okay, Google Trend Score, opportunity, YouTube score, monetization score, just like that, completion score, just like that, and then content ideas, we can click on that, and then scroll down a little bit, we get monetization plan, and then we can click save. And now if we run this once, what should happen is all the information that we get, we're going to get some new information, and it's going to pop up right here. So let's drag this all the way over. And sometimes you'll get an error. You just got to debug the error. And the great thing with ChatGPT is that you can copy and paste the error right into ChatGPT if you run into some issues. But let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. What we'll need to do is we'll probably need to refresh this. eventually. And the other cool thing too is that final score, it actually might work out for us. So, okay, great. So that 10 means that we should have 10 entries. Boom, 10 entries. So congratulations, you're a programmer, right? And then the date created popped up automatically. And so if we just take a look at this, and we're not quite done yet, but dog mental stimulation games, urban dog hacks. And what we can do is we can actually delete these if we wanted to. Raw feeding for beginners, dog enrichment, dog anxiety, homemade dog treats, senior dog mobility. And then let's look at our final score here. So let's look at our edit field. Okay, so it's weird that they all came out to 3. These numbers are not correct. So what we need to do is go back over to our make scenario, go to Airtable, and date created. Let us get rid of, we probably want to get rid of monetization score, monetization, competition. That's weird that those all came out to 3. So let's go edit field, Google Trends, YouTube monetization score. I'm going to delete this real quick and see what happens. Click save. So great. Those all came out. 8 plus 9 is 17, plus another 8 is what, 26? 26. Yeah, so that's about right. That actually should be 26 divided by, it should be divided by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the issue. So the great thing is if you put in bad information, you'll get bad output. So we click save, and that looks a little bit better. And the other thing that we can do too is we click edit, and then we can actually, I wonder how can we do the decimal points? But we'll come back to that. As you can see, dog mental stimulation games. But if we look at this, we can go over content ideas, top 3 brain games to stop boredom fast. Then we can always verify that by going over to YouTube and see if that's something that we can create. But let's look at our monetization. Sell downloadable PDF guides for mental stimulation. That's going to be something that we do later on down the road, but this gives us some ideas to move quicker, right? So we've got that. The final thing that we want to do, obviously we want to click save. We want to save this down here. The other thing that we need to do is we actually need to create an AI agent, okay? So we're going to go to scenarios. Actually, let's go back over here. We're going to turn this on. We're going to click here, and we're going to call this doggy niche finder. And just like that, we're going to click back. Boom, we've got that. And let me just make sure that we want to run this scenario on demand, okay? And the reason why we want to do that is we want to let the AI agent control it, right? So the final thing we need to do is actually make our AI agent. And to do that, we're going to click on create agent, and we're going to call this guy Frank. Frank, and then we're going to put niche finder like that, right? And then for model, we can choose, let's just choose GPT-4 Turbo, and then we want to tell it what to do. We've got to be very explicit in what we tell it what to do so that it knows and gives us good information. And once again, I have created a system prompt. And so I'm just going to copy all of this in so that it has the directions. And I've already communicated a few times how you can find it. Click save. And now that it has the system prompt, we can go over to system tools, and then we can go to niche finder, just like that, and then click add. Okay, and then we click save once again. And then if we go back over here, this is exactly what we've done. We've created a AI agent that will go over to ChatGPT every so often as we want. It is going to give us, and so actually you can see here it's up to 20 now. It will give us the score based on Google Trends, YouTube, monetization, competition, and then we could actually sort this. So if we wanted to, we could sort 9 to 1, and now, okay, so we can do dog anxiety solutions, and then we can actually come over here and get content ideas. What we'll wind up doing later on is now that we've got these sub niches taken care of, next week we'll make a video to help us find content ideas. And what we want to do is we want to find content ideas that are trending, that are popular, that are getting lots of views relatively recently. Okay? We want to move quickly. We don't want this to take forever. And that's going to be the next step. So guys, comment down below, tell me what you think. Is this a cool idea or what? And so what we're actually going to do, what I'm going to do from here on out is two things. I'm going to include this information in my membership. So I'll include obviously this video, I'll include transcripts of this video, I'll include everything that you need to get started, right? I'll also include the prompts, and I'll come back over here to scenarios, and I'm going to include, if I click on edit, I can include this blueprint that you can directly export blueprint. And so now people that are in my community will have access to this blueprint that they can get. They can just quickly import it. Or if you just want this one blueprint, you can buy it. I'm going to have a sales page eventually that I'll use AI to create, and I'll sell this one off for, I don't know, $7, $10, whatever, right? And so you can just buy these as needed, and you can watch the video, and you'll also get access to this thing here. But in full transparency and honesty, there will be no refunds, because I don't want you to just buy this and then request a refund immediately, because you get everything that you need, including the entire script. Actually, I want to get rid of, I'm going to get rid of this. You don't need that. But yeah, this is the first step in building out a 5K per month business. If you are inside of my community, in addition to getting this blueprint, you'll also get daily updates. You'll learn what's working, what isn't working. You'll get to see this move faster. Currently, the idea, the theory is that I will be updating this every Sunday. And so, you know, if you want to see what's happening faster, you'll want to join the community. And right now, it is the least expensive that it'll ever be. By the time you see this, the price will have gone up maybe. But yeah, you have two opportunities to take a look and to build something of your own. It can be, hey, RVs, that's interesting. It can be using the dog training thing. It can be your own niche. It really is up to you. But I'm really excited about this opportunity, and this is something that anybody can do. Be sure to like, comment, follow, share, subscribe, do all the good stuff if you are interested and want to follow along, and we'll see you in the next video.